Okay, I've decided that I'm going to do a affordable computer build using the parts from my upgrading my main PC, the leftovers, the hand-me-downs, and I went ahead and purchased a $40 motherboard, MSI. It's a AM Plus to fit the processor that I switched out in my main computer. It's pretty much the bare bones, good audio, nothing fancy. And to go along with it, I have two 4 gig Corsair DDR3 memory chips. They came in a set because I upgraded my computer to 16. So 8 is actually ample. Then I have my processor, 6-core AMD. It's a FX chip, and believe it or not, it's actually a pretty damn good one. And when I switched out my processor, the truth is that there really was no significant increase in performance, or at least noticeable. I'm pretty sure that in situations of editing, or probably uploading, or I guess you can say changing the format of a video in Microsoft Movie Maker, I might see a difference. But overall in gameplay, nothing changed. The only time I ever had really a boost in my computer performance is when I switched out the video card. And one of the biggest drivers of that is I was pushing 4K. And believe it or not, I was pushing 4K with this puppy right here. Now, when I got the 4K monitor, I was prepared to have a lot of real estate on the screen. And this guy right here only could do 30 frames. And when I was playing simple games like MechWarrior, I was getting significant frame loss and bad slicing of the screen. I realized that I needed to at least get my frame rate up to 60. So I started doing heavy research. How can I pull it? How can I pull that off? I found out there's a limited bandwidth in the HDMI out. So I tried using this, was it AVG or whatever, the extended port for extra monitors, still 30 frames. And then I realized that doing my research, the only way I can get 60 frames is using the display out port, which is only on new modern or more higher end graphics cards, the GTXs and stuff like that. So that's when I switched over. So this guy right here is a 750, and it does not need any external power routed into it to run. It is actually the same exact chip as the 900 series, just dumbed down. And because of its die size being so much smaller, to run just like a normal 750, but significantly cooler with less input power coming into it. So just because each generation chips get smaller and smaller and they get more powerful, they need less external power. So I can just plug this directly into the PCI Express slot without any kind of power aid to get to push this chip to shoot out those frames, but really only good for 1080p. The 4K, just can't do it. You can't get that 60 frames. So that's going to go into this box build that I'm doing right now, and it's going to be a Steam machine. So I'm going to be installing the Steam OS. I was going to do Ubuntu, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm going to do a little bit more research. This is just my first video, part 1, so might do Ubuntu because I heard it's better driver support. I'm not exactly sure if Steam is working together with the OS to make sure that there's hardware updates so it can run better, because when this first released, it was mighty unstable. So it scared me from getting it, even though there was a lot of compatibility. Really the push was it was trying to draw the Windows 7 users to it, because Windows 8 was horrible. And Microsoft responded quickly by releasing Windows 10, which is just a few tweaked version, like a minute tweaked version besides some compatibility with DirectX. It's basically, in my opinion, Windows 7, just with a few more irritations and more touchscreen friendly. But I would love to stay with Windows 7, but as everyone knows, Windows 8 scared a lot of people, and Steam pretty much jumped the ball and tried to fill that niche with gamers that were tired of Microsoft, came out with their own free version of an OS, just like many other OSs that are based off of Linux and Unix. So I'm going to give this guy a try. I'm very confident it's going to work, and even if it doesn't, at least I'll learn a lot. And I have done a few open source installs, and they've all been successful. And compatibility wise, all the hardware is old, and usually older hardware has a better chance of functioning inside a Linux based operating system. And I took out a 500 gig hard drive on my computer. I have a 3 terabyte, a 1 terabyte with an SSD hybrid combination, and then I have a FireWire 3 running 4 terabytes, so I got plenty of space. One of them is my dedicated Steam hard drive. The other one's where I keep most of my videos and stuff, and then I got pretty much my operating system plus a few direct installs into the program files, because for some reason when you reroute the directory, some updates and stuff just don't work, and I've learned that quite quickly, especially with open source games. I don't know what it is, but you gotta install directly. I guess it has to do with the mapping of the registry tree. I don't know. But simple fan, had it in a box, 450 watt power supply, and Sweet Tart Chew Sours, because Shock Tarts no longer exist. So anyways, oh yeah, the history of my AMD graphic card experiences. I believe these will work as Crossfire, but like I said, larger die size, more power to kick those frames in 3D. And I fried this guy. I had a water cooling based computer, my first experience with that. It was excessively expensive, and it was a total failure. But it did work for a couple of months. It sprung a leak, and it got onto the back of it and pretty much fried it. Now, strangely enough, the case motherboard, for some reason, will not hold this puppy in place. And I noticed that the copper ends on some of these connections were mighty short. At least I used to blame that, because if I kept on rebooting my computer, every once in a while it'll post. And when this guy was actually running, it was beautiful, way before its time. It is a 38070 X2 with 1 gigabyte. It was a $600 video card, and I learned a heavy lesson about bargaining and searching. Don't ever get the top of the line when it comes to video cards. They get old, they age. That guy's probably worth $2 now. And this is AJ's, and he just went out and bought a new one, so took it off his hands. It works perfectly fine, and it plays games quite well. But I have gone through many video cards. So, oh yeah, in the case. $19. Newegg, all plastic, cheap, lidded fan, red, and micro ATX motherboard. It's going to be one hell of a powerful, cheap computer build. And I will keep y'all posted on my next video on the install of the operating system, what it looks like, and further ideas of what I might do. There's a good chance that I might change my mind about going just directly with the SteamOS, because I would like to install a few open source streaming software and other stuff like that that runs really well for Linux, making my computer more in not just a gaming machine like an Xbox, but very much like, I guess you can say, an entertainment center to watch movies. So it should be an adventure. Anyway.